Hi everyone. So let's discuss about another topic in a programming language Dart, like a looping. This whole topic I have divided into three different videos. So for the next three video we'll learn about in the first video we'll learn about for loop and for in loop, and then while and do while loop, and in last video we'll learn about the break and a continue statement. Okay, so why looping is required? So let's say I want to print a 1 to 10 number. Let's say, and let me just run it. So it will print 1. Let's say I want to print 1 to 5. So I'll write like 1 to 3, 1 to 5, and let me just run it. So 1 to 5 it has printed. But don't you think it's like a very much cumbersome job? The same thing we are keep writing again and again. And let's say instead of just the 5, let's say I want to print, let's say 1000. So I need to write such a kind of 1000 statement. So how we can avoid such a kind of writing thousands of different statements for looping the same thing again and again? So for that, in any of the programming language, there is a one mechanism is available like a looping. So in this video, we'll see about the for loop, and another one is a for in loop. So let's see how we can achieve with the help of just the minimum sets of lines. So let me just comment this part, and we are going to use, let's say, for loop. So I'll start writing like a for, and inside the for loop you need to give the three different things, and after that there is a curly braces. So let's say I'll define a variable, let's say where I is equal to, let's say 1, or I can define the same thing here also, I is equal to 1, and after that there is a one semicolon. So this is called as an initialization of loop. After that you need to put some sort of condition. Let's say I is less than, I'll write like a 6. So as long as I is less than 6, this loop will keep on continuing, and after that I'll just increment I is equal to I plus 1. So after every one iteration, this I will be incremented by 1. So once you get to see one example, you will get the idea. And inside that I'll just write a very simple printing I. So what happens here, the first I will be 1. After that it will compare with the 6. So as long as 1 is less than 6, it will enter here, and it will execute whatever the code we write inside that particular for loop, and then it will just increment this I by 1. So now I will become a 2. Again it will enter, again it will enter. So till I will become a 5, 5 is still greater than 6, it will enter and print it. Again I will be incremented to, let's say 6. Now 6 is less than 6, so it will enter here. So at that time the loop will break. So let me just run it. So now you can see with just 3 lines of code, I will say just the 2 lines of code, I have printed this 5. But the same code you can write if you want to print, let's say 1000 number. Let's say a simple 100 number. So like 1 to 100 it has printed, 1 to 99. You can put like a condition like a 101, and it will print up to 100. So far so simple, so good, because with just minimal amount of code you are just iterating over every single value of this I. As long as this condition gets satisfied, it will enter into that particular for loop. You can say like a body of this particular for loop, and after every each iteration I will be incremented by 1. Now let's say instead of 1 I want to increment I by 5, and let's see what happens. So after every one iteration I will be incremented by 5. So 1 will directly jump to 6, 6 will directly jump to 11, in this way. Okay, so this is a one way of writing for loop. You can tweak about different variables. Let's say this initialization variable. So instead of initializing just one variable, you can initialize for multiple variables also, and you can put the condition afterwards. So as long as this part got evaluated to be true, it will enter to this particular for loop. It will execute the body of this particular for loop, and then increment part will happen. So this is a one way of writing loop. Let's say another one. So there is a one for in. So let's say we have already seen about the list object, set object. So let's define one list object, and I'm just going to define LST. Let's say inside that I'll write like a 23, 45, or let's say hello, or I'll write like true. So there are 4 elements are there. Now let's say I want to iterate over every single element. So we can use the same for loop with little bit different mechanism. So I can use like inside the for loop, I'll create some temporary variable. So here our temporary variable is like a I, which is keep changing. And let's define a temporary variable. Let's say element. So ELE, I'll just define. And I want to take each element from the every individual element available inside this particular list. So I will write like a LST. Now you can visualize one thing here, that I am iterating over this particular list. And let me just comment this part. So I am iterating over this particular list LST, and for each element available in LST I am taking into ELE variable. Now let's just print this ELE. Okay, and let's just run it. So now you can see it has printed 23, 45, hello, and a true. So this way you can iterate over any kind of collections. So we have seen about the list collection, map collection, or even a set collection. So this is a 2-way you can iterate and you can do the looping mechanism with the help of this for loop. There is another 2 loops are available, which is a while loop and do while loop. So that is a small modification over this for loop and giving little bit more flexibility compared to for loop. So those 2 for loop we'll see it, those 2 another loop while and do while loop we'll see into next video.